Hi guys, this is Denise Cooper and I have a small little talk about or a review or whatever you want to call it. Walter Mosley, 47. Now you know I'm reading Nelson Mandela, right? Yeah, you do. And some of you are reading it along with me and I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. Now, I will say, this book, I had to do it. I had to read something while reading a big book. Is that a knock at my door? Who is it? Am I hearing things? Okay, my son is playing classical music, and I just did a big old long book session of a book tour. You guys. Anyway, back to Walter Mosley. 47. Now, remember Black History Month. I found this and it's called Middle Zone. Not middle grade, middle zone. I guess it's a zone in the library for middle-aged kids or middle-minded or middle, some YA, some whatever. Middle zone is what they're calling these books. To me, being that I've had kids most of my life, I've read some of everything, okay? And I count them on my book reads. Yes, I do. I count children's books. If I'm going to sit there and read it to my grandchildren and myself, and before I read books, sometimes I read YA books to see if Jade and Deja, my oldest two granddaughters, can read it, or if I want to buy it for them. Because you know I buy books for my grandkids, and I'm going to buy this book for my grandkids. I trust Walter Mosley. Now, fun fact about Walter Mosley, because I've been watching his interviews and things, and I've been buying Walter Mosley books, and you guys see some of those on my shelf, right? Some I haven't gotten back to this day. So anyway, yeah, like my Easy Rollins. Let's not go there. So anyway, I'm very generous. I used to be. I'm still generous because I do donate a lot of books. So that's not the topic. The topic is Walter Mosley and what I found out about Walter Mosley while reading this book. Because in reading books, I always totally love, and I keep showing the cover. DJ said, Mom, I like that cover. That's a nice cover. And it's basically 47 in the sky. And if you can see, 47 is the slave in the middle with the gold around him. And you guys will understand that when you read the book. And I don't want anybody to break their banks because I have an obsession for books. And I know that most people that are on YouTube do. And those who watch definitely are encouraged and already have a book obsession, maybe bigger than ours. And so that's why you gravitate toward BookTube, because you want to feed your obsession. But I'm telling you, I don't own this book. I don't feel guilty. Most of the books I've read in my life are probably checked out at libraries all across the United States, because we used to move every 2 years. So yeah, a lot of books from the library. And I love a library. Now my library has books on ebooks where you can actually download them and not order them. You can just read them on your computer or your phone. Isn't that the coolest? However, and this is, I was ordering Jay, and the lady goes, you can just order that and read it on your computer. I said, if I wanted it on my computer, I would have just went home and downloaded it on my computer, but I like having it in my hand. Can I just order the book? And she's like, okay, Denise, don't get crazy. So anyway, yeah, they know me. But we were just joking with each other, but she knows I like my physical books. And so, talking about this book, and let's get serious here. Yeah. No master, no slave be. That sentence will run along this whole book. Think about that. Now, what happens in this book, a young boy named John comes to meet 47, who's known on the Corinthian plantation as just 47, along with number whatever and this number and that number 84, which is another young lady that you'll read about in this book. So, John befriends 47, and he takes him on this journey. Now, John is from another world. So, Mr. Walter Mosley is writing a middle zone, I don't know what these kids are calling it, dystopian, this, that, and the other. I call it science fiction. If it's otherworldly, to me, it's science fiction. Whatever genre you want to put this in, put it in there if you need to. but I'm just going to call it an amazing little book, okay? So, no master, no slave be, okay? So John is from another world, and at first it keeps talking about he's in another world beyond Africa. So he keeps meeting up, or he meets up with 47, the young slave, and takes him on this journey. And while 47 and 84, the other girl, are in their, the cotton fields picking cotton, and the master's talking to them and hollering at them and this, that, and the other, and they're yes, sir, and no, sir, and then, they're telling John about slaves because he doesn't understand the whole concept of being a slave, okay? And that's why he tells them, no slave, no master be. And then they finally get it as the story weaves on. And the young Eloise, a young white girl at the slave master's home, she's the daughter of the slave master for the Corinthian plantation. And she even picks up on it, and she gets to understand it. And so right now, this book is clearly not just for young adults. This is for anyone. That's why I had it on Black History, but I'm telling you, I'm so happy that I found it. I'm so glad that I finished it, because I was halfway through during Black History, and then I put it down so I can read all these other books, right? Half of the other books, and some of them I finished, okay? But anyway, check it out. I'm going to read a little bit from this, and this is, I don't understand spoilers, because I forget a spoiler as soon as you said it if I watch somebody's video, and I go get the book and I go, okay, I don't remember that. Oh, when you finally get to the part that they were talking about, you go, oh yeah, and it's just familiar to you. Didn't spoil it. So I don't care. I'm going to read it. I'm going to do that with my lip. So anyway, I heard all the words, but I didn't really care about anything but the insinuation that Miss Eloise was sick. Miss Eloise, again, the young slave master's daughter, and she's sick. And so this is 47 talking, because 47 is telling the whole story. Okay? I was going to say something else, but anyway, back then in my slave mind, as John called it, I thought Eloise was the coolest thing, or the closest thing you could come to, and as an angel, as an angel here on earth. She was to me the most beautiful girl in all the world. I loved her in my heart, as Brother Bob told us we had to love the Lord. He loves Eloise, this little white girl, slave master's daughter, like the Lord. Okay? She was to me the most beautiful girl in all the world. I loved her in my heart. Okay? Every night when I remembered to say my prayers, I asked him to keep her safe. Him in capital letters, meaning God. He asked God to keep Eloise safe. I felt that if anything happened to Miss Eloise, that I would die too. So his life is linked to hers. Eloise was a beautiful child, that's for sure. And I learned later, that she was a good person too. And that's what I was talking about earlier. She figures out what that means. Okay? But now I realize that I loved her whiteness when I was still a slave, because that whiteness meant freedom. And freedom was what choked up. And freedom was what I wanted more than anything in the world, even though I didn't know it. So 47 doesn't know freedom, and he's attaching his livelihood, this beauty and this love, even his life. If this white girl dies, then I'm gonna die too. And she's loved to him as much as the Lord. And I don't love anybody, not even my mother, or my daughter, or my sons, as much as I do the Lord, because that's my belief. And there are atheists, I have atheist friends, I have gay friends, I have black friends, I have white friends, I have Spanish friends, I have Chinese friends. I have people that I love, and it doesn't matter to me, because what I believe is that we're all one race, the human race. Now, we definitely know that there's racism, that there are people who think they're inferior to others, better than others. But if you were raised, thinking like that, it's just going to continue to perpetuate it. And if you don't learn about the distinctions and maybe what your take on these problems are, then maybe you're going to be either sucked into some tunnel vision world thinking that this doesn't exist. We know it exists. Yes, the human race is made up of all kinds of races, and I'm a part of that, and so are you. Or you wouldn't be able to see, hear, and listen to what I'm saying, because you'd just be a dog panting at the screen, or a cat walking by like she don't know nothing, because you know them cats are kind of wise. I'm scared of cats. I'm sorry. I'm just going to put that out there. Yeah. So anyway, talking about this book and how his affection is for Miss Eloise, right? And to me, like, he's talking about the freedom that she represents, and that's something he aspires to. So if she dies, knowing his position as a slave, then he's nothing. I mean, he's already 47. He doesn't even have a name like Eloise. So imagine what, I mean, seriously, that's why I said this book is not just for children. There are a lot of people, and I've met them, and I think we all are pretty much like that if we live in the United States. We have some form of slave, dust bunny mentality. Yeah. I told you, the book tour. I mean, now I've got dust bunnies all over the place. And it's you guys' fault, and I'm really pissed, and I think you should come over here and clean my house and dust, because I mopped my floors. But I didn't dust down the books or spray them. I do spray my books, I'm sorry, but I get a lot of used books and library books, and I will spray the heck out of them. Maybe that kicked up the dust bunnies because I sprayed them before I did the book tour. Sorry, I got off track again. The book is really good. And it's awesome because it's science fiction. John comes from this other place, and he's really taken on the form of a little boy who meets with 47, because 47, you guys, guess what he is? And it's not a spoiler because it told you in the synopsis, he's the one. He's like the Matrix, baby. He's Keanu Reeves up in that slave pit. Okay? He's the chosen one to save the earth. So he's bigger than all that racism. Walter Mosley, you did something there. I like that. And then I wanted to read something else. And am I getting quiet? Am I? You can turn up the volume. Okay, just tell me if you didn't hear some of what I said, because I kind of noticed my voice was kind of trailing. I'm really tired. I'm really sleepy, and the book tour will continue tomorrow. Because once I do something or said I was going to do it, I try so hard to do it, and I was like, because I got to get this out of the way. They said they wanted a book tour, and I started day one, and I'm just going to go ahead and do it. So Monday through Friday, I'm going to do this book tour, and I'm going to wrap this sucker up, and I'm talking about 47. So, and I wanted to read, and then I'm going to shut up. Yeah. Anyway, it is like a living thing and knows how to keep certain information about the future from those living in the past. Now, this is just talking about, I'm kind of just dropping in there, but you read the book, check it out at the library. But I just wanted to read this, and then I'll talk about it. Because if you knew mistakes, and this is what I love, if you knew mistakes that you were going to make and you tried to change them, the world would suffer from things that never came to pass, like all those mistakes that we make and we learn from them. So let me read that again, Mr. Walter Mosley. Because if you knew mistakes that you were going to make and you tried to change them, the world would suffer from things that never come to pass or came to pass. So basically, your mistakes in this book, okay, and the shifts and changes that it makes, okay, if you would have known every darn thing and didn't make these mistakes, then the world would not benefit from your growth. This is not just for kids. You know you learn something when you read stuff like that. And the little fact that I was telling you about that I wanted to share, and of course you can see all the interviews on Walter Mosley right here on YouTube. And I'm going to stop moving around because I still have lag. So anyway, what I was going to say is one of the best things that I learned about him, because I've been thinking about my book and I need to get back to it. Yeah, I should move over here. Right there. Okay, stop, Denise. So Walter Mosley writes 1,000 words a day, and then the next day he edits those 1,000 words and then writes 1,000 new words. And then the next day it just keeps on going. And so when he talks about a circle going on in here, I'm like, I love it when an author puts himself in the book. And so obviously these are his probably thoughts on slavery and slave mentality. Look up slave mentality, you Americans and non-Americans and everyone else that's tuning in on this channel. Isn't YouTube beautiful when I can talk to people in California and in Poland and in Germany and in Frankfurt? I love Frankfurt. I landed there before we went to New Ulm and lived there for a couple of years. Sprechen Sie Deutsch? Nix, nein, no more. Kindergarten, yeah, very kindergarten German. Okay, and we're back. 47 is an amazing book, and I'm at 15 minutes and 37 seconds. You guys, I encourage you to check out this book from the library, and if you just need to own it, I don't need to own it. Darn it. You know what? Confession. I just lied to you guys. I do want to own it. I don't need to. So maybe I didn't lie. I really wanted to get this for my girls, Jada and Deja. And I want them to have a conversation with their mom and with their dad and with grandma when they come over here. So yeah. Grandma! It's them people again. They want to look at your books. Yeah. Bye, you guys. Watch all them book tours. Comment heavily, because you asked for it. Like and subscribe and all that jazz. I'm trying to find the button, and when I find